Good morning, everyone. Had another fabulous beginning of the week with all the children and all my grandchildren here, plus the one friend of my grandson's. And he came with the instructions. We were all set to play baseball out there before he came, and he comes and we get the instructions from one of the parents. You can't sweat today. Can't sweat. Okay. And why is that? So it's going to be picked up a little earlier because they had a plan to go somewhere. All right. Don't sweat today. Okay. What does that mean? Okay. These children, and it was almost 100 degrees. I think it was more than 100 degrees yesterday. And not quite 110, I was told, but it was definitely hot and humid. Sauna. You could just go outside. Okay, sauna. Just sit there and you start sweating. And I thought, well, that means we'll have to stay inside all day, which in a way was fine because my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, with her cast, I've already said, no water. And I thought, well, I guess we'll have an inside day. We'll play some games, this, that, right? Yes. But to me, when you can't sweat and can't get dirty, wow, that's a weird one to me. Okay, yeah, I don't know what other people do with their children or when they take care of children, but the children here with me, they get sweaty and they get dirty. Well, anyway, so. Then the one with the cast on her leg ended up doing a little too much. So we're still busy, right? And she said, "Rosie, my leg hurts." I'm kind of, huh? So I had her elevate her leg. I said, "Well, you're done. You need to just rest now." But it was fun. So it was a relaxing day. And that's about it. What else happened yesterday? Day just flew by again. It was morning, then it was nighttime. That was that. Oh, my daughter made her favorite food, outler macaroni. Oh, that dish is so good. It's a traditional meal in where I grew up, and we always loved it. It's a cheap one to make. And so I'll give you the recipe real quick, just in case you want to do that. It's put a pot of water on the stove. Keep in mind you'll be boiling noodles, macaroni. You can use other noodles if you want to. I would not suggest spaghetti, but any kind of other one will work. The macaroni one is the traditional one. So you peel some potatoes, a few. Yeah, it depends on how much you want to make. We always make a lot because it goes quick. That is eaten very fast. And so I'd say for 4 people, use about 4 potatoes, a potato per person, say. And then you bring that to a boil with the potatoes in it, salted already as well. Put a little oil in it so the macaroni don't stick. And then once it comes to a boil, you put the macaronis in. And when you put the macaronis in, by the time they're done, the potatoes are done. And then you drain it, get you a frying pan, cut a whole bunch of onions, just depends. 3 or 4 onions, right? You gotta have a lot of onions. And you saute those, and you cut them small. You cut them thin, but not in cubes. Just cut that's it. And cut them thin, and use a bunch of butter. Use a lot of butter. You need a lot of butter. At least a stick, if not a stick and a half of butter. Put the onions in and saute them until they're nice and brown, golden brown. Have a nice, yes, okay. And that takes a while, and you let them sit for a little, and then you stir them again, and you let them sit and stir them again until they have this nice color. In the meantime, you take a bowl, or again, the pot, and you put half of the macaroni and potatoes in, and grate some cheese, whatever cheese you like, really. It doesn't come down, it doesn't really matter. Because of the children, mostly here we use Monterey Jack, or the Colby cheese is fine too. But if you like it a little more, with a little more zing, use the cheddar, sharp cheddar, and you grate a nice amount. I'd say at least a cup and a half for each layer. So about 3 cups, if you, depending again on the pot. And you put first a cup and a half of cheese over top of the first layer, right? So break it in half, half and half of the potatoes and the noodles, and then you put the rest of the noodles on top and the rest of the cheese, and then when the onions are done with the butter, you pour that over top nicely. Yes, yeah, and then you go and get your milk. It takes about a cup of milk, and you pour a little milk over top. Yes, yeah, weird one, but that you got to do that, otherwise it gets too dry. And then you put the top on and let it sit. Don't have to turn it on anymore or anything. Let that sit for until the cheese is melted, right? Yes, and then you're ready to go. It's traditionally eaten with applesauce on the side. I like to make, just because I always end up making recipes my way. It's really good if you put some sausages on top or some bacon. Yes, fry some bacon, put that in with the onions and put that on top. Depending on, you have to have meat. You can even add some chicken. Okay, just saying. It's very good. It's very good. And it's ready to go. And oof, it's good. It's really, really good. So there it is. That's what we had last night. And all the kids were like, yeah. And of course, since the onions are just on the top, if a child doesn't like the onions, you can dig down, right? Get them out without the onions. No problem. So there it was. That's what we had for dinner. It was delicious. Yep. Okay. Let's get going. So one of the robins tried again, and we found an egg that fell out again. And I thought, sitting here yesterday, and going, how interesting. To watch this now happening twice. No, we didn't do anything. It was just happens. And on how nature just balances things out. I came out, and the egg had fallen overnight. I'm looking, and the ants were already cleaning it up. In the afternoon, there was literally, all that was left that had come out of that egg was the shell. They picked it clean. And I thought, oh, how interesting on how the balance of, some things make it, some things don't, but whatever doesn't make it isn't wasted. It's, the ants needed some sustenance, I guess. Took care of all that, and all that's left is the shell. And I thought, amazing on how these birds are nature, the principles of creation, on how they're designed to just keep balance. And it isn't just, these robins aren't discouraged by the failure. They're just, okay, let's try again. Then there's failure again, but okay, well, that was part of the season. Right? Yes, spring and summer to raise babies. It's almost as well. That's what they do, and nothing discourages them. And I'm not sure. Again, man, after that first attempt, I'd have gone looking for somewhere else to have my eggs. Something more safe. Or I'm not sure why they fall out of the nest. Maybe it's too hot, and the birds realize we can't raise children like that, or baby birds like that. I'm not sure. I have no idea. And on how it doesn't matter. They're just, okay, try it again. And I thought, does that even register to them? Yeah, that to the birds, these robins, does it even register to them that they've done this twice now? Most likely the same ones. And here go the eggs again. Yeah, oh, how sad. Yeah, I think they don't. It's not perceived as that in the principles of creation. We're under the principles of love, yes, and creation, but love as well. And for these birds, it's just not just do it again, and you try again, because it's in their DNA to do so. It's they're created that way. And whatever makes it, whatever doesn't. When the season for creating, reproducing is over, then they go on to the next thing, which is probably getting ready for winter again, right? Yes? Anyway, I thought that was interesting on how that works and on how the ants immediately took care of that. The balance in nature is when one doesn't disturb it is incredible. Yes? Just saying. All right. We're in Judith 14. The book of Judith 14. Super chapter 5. I got another thing in here now. Look. I found all these interesting things in my Bible. I stuck in here probably years and years ago. Little leaf. No, can't remember what it is. It looks like a, actually it looks like a blackberry leaf. No, it doesn't. Oh, here's another leaf. Okay. Let's just get going. Victory. The Jews attacked the Assyrian camp. Now it's their turn. Judith said, "Listen to me, brothers. Take this head and hang it on your battlements. When morning comes and the sun is up, let every man take his arms and every able-bodied man leave the town. Appoint a leader for them, as if you meant to march down to the plain against the Assyrian advanced post. But you must not do this. The Assyrians will gather up their equipment, make for their camp, and wake up their commanders. They in turn will rush to the tent of Holofernes and not be able to find him. They will then be seized with panic and flee at your advance. All you and the others who live in the territory of Israel will have to do is to give chase and slaughter them as they retreat. But before you do this, call me Achior the Ammonite, for him to see and identify the man who held the house of Israel in contempt, the man who sent him to us as someone already doomed to die." So they had Achior brought from Uzziah's house. No sooner had he arrived and seen the head of Holofernes held by a member of the people's assembly than he fell on his face in a faint. They lifted him up. He then threw himself at Judith's feet and, prostrate before her, exclaimed, "May you be blessed in all the tents of Judah and in every nation. Those who hear your name will be seized with dread." Okay. Now it's about war. It's about war, how to get into it, how to get out of it, how to... It is as it is. I feel like these stories are in here like that, so that now you have permission from God to, well, you're on God's side, so you got permission now from God to do that. Right? Yes? That's what this is for. And that's not about, this is not God. This is not our Heavenly Parent. This is man-made. Talking about nature before, the principles of creation and how the balance is there and how, yes, and this is not balance. This is just stories that then, well, but God gives us permission if we're on his side to go and slaughter people. Well, you don't want to be slaughtered yourself, so Yeah. Well, okay. I, Now tell me everything that you have done in these past few days. And surrounded by the people, Judith told him everything she had done from the day she left Bethulia to the moment when she was speaking. When she came to the end, the people cheered at the top of their voices until the town echoed. Achior, recognizing all that the God of Israel had done, believed ardently in him, and accepting circumcision, was permanently incorporated into the house of Israel. Oh, interesting. At daybreak, they hung the head of Holofernes on the ramparts. Every man took his arms, and they all went out in groups to the slopes of the mountain. Seeing this, the Assyrians sent word to their leaders, who in turn reported to the generals, the captains of thousands, and all the other officers. And these in their turn reported to the tent of Holofernes. Rouse our master, they said to his major domo. These slaves have dared to march down on us to attack and to be wiped out to a man. But Goaz went inside and struck the curtain dividing the tent, thinking that Holofernes was sleeping with Judith. But as no one seemed to hear, he drew the curtain, went into the bedroom to find him thrown down dead on the threshold with his head cut off. Okay. He gave a great shout, wept, sobbed, shrieked, and rent his clothes. He then went into the tent which Judith had occupied and could not find her either. Then rushing out to the men, he shouted, "The slaves have rebelled. A single Hebrew woman has brought shame on the house of Nebuchadnezzar. Holofernes is lying dead on the ground without his head." When they heard this, the leaders of the Assyrian army tore their tunics in consternation. The camp rang with their wild cries and their shouting. Okay. So while I was reading this, okay, I wasn't there, I don't know. It says that it's just a story anyway, so who knows if that really happened or whatever. And I've mentioned this before, interestingly enough. What? So a whole army, there's one general, and he is absolutely needed. As soon as that one, what if he would have gotten sick and died? Would they have packed up and gone home too? I'm just asking. Right? So again, to leave just the command in one man's hands seems to not go well when something happens to that one person. Right? Yes? Just saying. So surely there were more generals than that one. Or, again, you shoot yourself kind of in the foot if you think you have it all under control by yourself. Okay. Just saying. I saw an interesting show yesterday. It was a French show, and it had to do with teenagers disappearing. And then one of them was found dead in the forest. Yeah. It was interesting. Again, to me, throughout the whole thing, something came to mind while I was watching the show. And that was, in the beginning, there was a girl that disappeared, which also ended up being dead, that wasn't a part of the police force. It was a small town, again, by a forest. And there was a new police chief, and then there were others, and one of them, I guess I'd say next in command, was a woman, deputy or something, captain something. And when the girl disappeared, the parents immediately went they realized she wasn't where she was supposed to be, in bed. They went and they reported and said, it could just be, we have to wait. We can't just do an alert, an Amber Alert. We have to wait. She may be at someone's house or this or that, right? Yes. Then, no, that wasn't the case. Well, she'll be back in a few days or something. I mean, it's not like they weren't concerned, but, And then they found the bike, but not the body, or not her, and the tires were slashed. Okay. Also, there was a teacher that had gotten a phone call from the girl while something was happening, right, somewhere, and caused the teacher great concern. And so she went also to the police station, said, hey, I'm just saying, and again it was kind of, well, so here you have the parents and that teacher, and it's still being downplayed. Okay, why am I saying this? Well, that one girl, daughter of that one woman that was a police captain, also ended up disappearing. Oh my gosh. Oh, it was like, oh yeah, yeah, instant, Amber Alert, this, nah, I don't know what. Oh, we got every lead was followed up, and I don't know, and every person suddenly becomes a suspect. Whereas before, with the other girls, well, we don't really know. We don't know what happened. So we're gonna have to keep investigating. We've got to be more sure. But when it came to that other girl, of the police captains, yeah, completely different story. And I watched that through the whole thing, and I'm going, wow. So everybody has to become a police captain or be somewhere when, if anything like that happens to your children, in order for everybody to get, the FBI get involved, the other authorities all around get involved, this, that, you have to beware. You have to have the position of what? Huh? Yes? And I watched that, and throughout that whole series that I watched, 6 episodes, and I thought, yeah, okay. How sad. How sad. So blatantly. Okay, I know that they did not make this series, or whatever, whoever, it could be by a book, could have been a book, that they wanted it to make it look like that. But that's exactly what it looked like to me. I watched it going, wow, that hypocrisy. And that hypocrisy, in my opinion, absolutely exists. Yes? Here in the camp of Holofernes, right? Oh my gosh, oh, they tear their clothes, and oh my gosh, oh, he's dead. One guy, brutal guy, just goes on a rampage through the country, and because the one that he follows, right, that's sitting in his palace somewhere, says, I'm God. I want you to go and tell everybody I'm God, and whoever doesn't accept me, just slaughter them, right? Yes? Here he's dead. And oh my gosh. Okay, really, when it comes down to it, if I want to be honest, I'd say, well, good riddance, right? Yes? And I'm sure the Israelites, what are the Israelites? They're, yay! Here in Holofernes camp, all the soldiers, you're tearing the clothes. Right? But it could have been the other way around. Oh, it's been the other way around. Here are Holofernes soldiers and whoever else was there, yeah, we slaughtered another so many. And the Israelites, oh my gosh, we're dying of thirst. When is life important? When is our human lives important? Who decides one life is more important than the other? God? God decides, I'm going to be with them today. And according to the Bible, the prophet says that God supposedly said, if you guys don't, to the Israelites, if you don't get your act straightened out, I'm going to go and be with the Assyrians and help them out, wipe you out. Right? Yes? And then when the Israelites kind of, okay, all right. And God says, according to the Bible, all right, now I'm with you. Now we're going to go and slaughter these guys. That's God? God would go for that? I believe that we were created to take care of each other. Yes, there's always going to be casualties to something. Right? But when it comes to human life as well. But these casualties shouldn't be because we make that possible. Right? That we're the ones, mankind, who decides who gets to live and who dies. Do you know what I mean? Because in our Heavenly Parents' eyes, isn't every human being important? And again, I'd have to ask, could you choose among your children if you have more than one? If you only have one, then I guess you'll have to sacrifice that one. But then you got none. I mean, but if you'd had to choose among your children, which one should... okay, let's see. I like this one better than that one. We had this conversation already. So I guess we'll keep that one. And okay. Yes? You think God thinks like that? There is a part somewhere in the Bible too, and that's way back when that came up, where at one point God regrets having created mankind. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a moment that is true. If I am created in God's image, in my Heavenly Parents' image, then wouldn't I feel the same way with maybe some of my children, if I'd had children that were just behaving horrifically and just did things where I'd say, my gosh, I'd rather not give birth to that. Yes? No. I would have to recognize there's a problem somewhere, but to not love any of my children, or single one out to not be loved, and then make that one expendable, collateral damage. No, if I don't feel that way, I guarantee you that Heavenly Parent doesn't feel that way. And to say that he had regrets, someone said that for one reason or another. Again, for what? I'm not sure. Is there some kind of a control that one exerts over that? That, yeah, you could be next. According to whom? And at whose hands? God's hands? I doubt that very much. So it's all man-made. It's made up. It's made up when it comes to how God feels about all this, on how he views all of that. That's what I believe. So, I'd have to ask for anyone as well, but okay, then you go ahead and you choose among your children and grandchildren. Or tell me which ones one regrets. Which ones do you regret that you'd rather never given birth to, or wish that one of your children never given birth to? Yeah, see, now it looks a little different, doesn't it? Huh? So, then I also have to say, so now, knowing myself, am I greater than God? I know I'm not greater than God. I know that full well. But then one shouldn't believe silly notions like God said at one point that he regretted creating mankind. Just saying. That's the kind of stuff that I see out there, besides the hierarchy of who's important to look for example, when a child is missing, and who's not so important. Yes, well, that's terrible. That's awful. That's unbelievable. And it's suddenly one of your own. So much more importance is attached to it. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Just saying. So there it is. Yes, the reputation of our Heavenly Parent. My gosh. So much to defend there. His thing. Well, anyway, we're trying, right? Yes? That's all I have to share this morning. I've got to get going, get breakfast going. It's going to be a hot day. It's supposed to rain, but it looks like it's opening up again. So, I don't know. We'll find out. I got a bunch of zucchinis I got to do something with. So, I think we're going to make zucchini bread and I'm going to saute a bunch of them. No, I was going to encase them in dough. Yes, that's what I was going to do. There's my grandson, so I better get going. May Heavenly Parent bless and protect you and embrace you with love, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.